Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a great weekend so far. My name is Holmes, and I'm delighted to be your MC in tonight's meeting where we are hosting a very special and dear upline of ours, Dr. Eseza Nambassi from South Africa. And here we are speaking live with my team. They are all listening in. The new step ups, the managers, senior managers. We are actually at Mburara Farm Lodge for our step up dinner. It's a dinner that we have every at the end of every month when people have stepped up to manager, senior manager, executive manager, and director. We always have our step up dinners. And as you can see, some of the pictures, you can see how guys are smart, are very excited. We have people like Badr Asimwe. We have people like Fahim Nampija, our newest manager in Timland Kings, a student in second year who last month became a senior manager. She's also here with us at Emburara having her dinner while listening into our meeting. And we also have Dennis Tomushabi, a gentleman who is actually stepping up to one Ruby director this month without fail. He's a very committed man. And we have the rest of the team here. We have Mr. Davis Taiwa, who stepped up to manager. We have Adi Asimwe, who also became a director, I think, close to 2 months ago. And we have Mr. Joseph Mojisha. So it's fun here. And it is something that I would actually encourage the whole entire team to work towards, because our business is majorly about making money, living healthier for longer, but also at the same time, it's also about having fun. As you can see there, that is Davis at Emburara. Yes, and that is Nampija. You know, guys are really, really having fun and enjoying themselves. Yes. So that is also part of new life, travel and lifestyle and having fun. Yes. So that is Joseph Mojisha. Okay. Yeah. So at this very moment, before I actually call our speaker, I would also want to remind us about our upcoming end of year convention, which is going to be on the 10th. Our convention is going to be on December 10th. That will be 10th, that will be a Saturday. It's a 3-day event. And a convention is simply whereby we get to recognize every single distributor on the team right away from when they got started, and every slightest bit of achievement that they've had throughout the year. We get to recognize it, we get to reward it, we get to be happy, we get to dance, we eat, we drink as we close off the year with special gifts, special incentives. I mean, it's an event whereby you do not want to be told that this is how it was. You just want to make sure that you are there so that you can attend by yourself. So our end of year convention is a 3-day event. Saturday 10th we will be in Kampala, and then Sunday we are going to be in Mbara, and now for Kampala, all the neighboring districts join us in Kampala. Then for Mbarara, all the districts in Western Uganda are also able to join us for the convention. And now on Monday will be a special day, because that is the time we get to have fun. we are going to be visiting Queen Elizabeth National Park. We are going to have a game ride, and then we are going to have lunch on water. Should I be calling it a ship? What should I call it? A ferry. I don't know what we are going to call it, but just know we are going to have a boat. I thought a boat is a small one, but we are going to have lunch. We're going to have lunch on water. There's going to be plenty of music, plenty of drinks. We are going to just know we are going to enjoy. And what is going to even be most interesting is it's going to be the people that are invited. The people that are invited for to travel for that game ride and spend time at Queen Elizabeth National Park. They are the people who have stepped up to manage, to send executive manager. So from the month of August, because the contest period started in August. From the month of August, that is when the people who have stepped up to executive manager, they are going to be invited for that trip to Mwea. From August, September, October, and November. Those are the months. If you step up to executive manager, you will be able to be invited, and everything will be paid for by Team Lion Kings. And then at the convention, we are going to be awarding gifts. People who have stepped up to manager, people have stepped up senior manager, people have stepped up to director, executive manager, world team. All of them are going to be rewarded. And then the other people that are going to be rewarded are people who, like, we are going to be selecting the top 10 distributors, people who have been developing managers, doing a lot of sponsoring, doing a lot of personal PV. We shall be going into the whole entire team and we select the top 10 distributors of the year. Then we shall also be giving top 10 in personal sponsoring, top 10 in personal PV. All of that is going to be awarded. All that is going to be awarded. So that's how beautiful the convention is going to be. You would not really want to miss at all. So let's start working. Registration started already. I think already we have close to 30 people that have so far registered. So in case you have not registered, please register now. It's going to be fun. Some of you have already attended some of our convention and media rallies. You know what we do in our conventions. So do not miss and make sure that you attend with as many as possible. So at this very moment, I would want to invite our special upline all the way from Durban, South Africa. She's an amazing lady with over 30 years of experience with Neo Life. So you would not want to miss out, because it is very, whatever information she always passes on to us is always very useful and helpful towards the building of our business. So Dr. Eseza Nambassi, you are invited to take it on. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice. And I just want to say to the whole team, you've got an amazing leader. And I want to also add to my congratulations for ongoing to Ruby, on stepping up to Ruby. Well done. I've watched you grow, and it really warms my heart to know that I've got such quality in my team. And for all of you who are guests, welcome. I just want to correct that I'm not yet 30 years old in the business. It makes me sound older than I am, but I'm almost there. So I'm proud of that as well. I know I have a couple of people who are here with me in South Africa, one in Durban, one in Johannesburg. Welcome, Zandi and Beverly. I'll just say a special welcome to you. It's good to know that I've got support on this side as well. And I'll also say thank you for inviting me to be your speaker. I will tell my story and weave it in as I present, but what Justice asked me to do was to talk about the importance of what Neolife has to offer. And I must say, I totally believe in our opportunity. The reason being that it makes so much sense to me. And apart from making sense, what are our alternatives? You need to ask yourself that. What is the alternative given the way the world has gone lately, where people are looking for true health, not just covering over the symptoms, but real health. I think the past 2 years or 3 years is coming to have been a major education project for each one of us. And we need to pay attention. We need to sit up and pay real attention. And the whole message from the experience that we've all come through is that nobody will do it for you. You need to take responsibility for your health. Neolife has been at it for a long time. We're actually 64 years old. Neolife was the first company to declare that it is important to go green. So our mission is to make the world a healthier and happier place. And so just come with me on a little journey. I'm trained as a medical doctor. I've been a medical doctor for 37 years now. I've clocked 37 years since I stepped out of medical school. And that's a pretty long time. But I have to tell you that as I entered medical school, in fact, while I was still doing my high school, I knew deep down in my heart that I wanted to be able to educate people about how to prevent challenges with their health and not to wait until they arrived in hospital and then try to fix them. And I was speaking like that right from the time, in fact, I must have been speaking like that while I was still in primary school even. And my life turned out, I ended up in medical school. I don't regret it because I learned exactly what I had been convicted of and with, and that is for good health to happen, there has to be fundamental change in lifestyle. And now, when I came to South Africa, I left Uganda, I lived in Zambia for some time, arrived in South Africa in the 80s. I had one child, my husband and I arrived in South Africa, and I had to work, but this is all I was seeing, people queuing up for all sorts of pills, and they would come back month after month. And all messages about lifestyle change were falling on deaf ears and continue to fall on deaf ears. So you see, we have a lot of work to do because I truly believe that there is absolutely no benefit if your neighbors around you are not well. Nobody benefits from that. And I think we have seen that as well, okay? So this picture is actually to tell us that we have, as a society, grown to be reliant on the quick fix. And I need to disappoint the visitors and guests that there's nothing like that. And part of my passion as I traveled through medical school was to unpack what we were being taught in pharmacology. Pharmacology is the study of medications, okay? And I would read all the side effects, and I became increasingly alarmed and horrified at the potential for toxicity that lay there. So later on, as I got children, I realized that a lot of the symptoms, a lot of the manifestations could be as a result of the fact that there were too many toxins around, okay? And it is not far-fetched, because I'll give an example, and this is how I started to look for Neolife. My children, at that stage I had two. I actually now have three adults. They're no longer children. But then the two that I had, one of them developed eczema and severe hay fever. And I decided that I would really focus on our diet. So I tried my level best to eliminate processed foods. It's not always easy, but I tried as much as possible to ensure that we're eating good, wholesome food. As I say, it is not easy, especially if you're working or you are exposed to these fast foods, the fast food culture that we are all exposed to. So then I started asking myself, what else could it be? Now, I do have quite an inquiring mind. I'm very, very inquisitive, and I like to ask, why is this happening? What else could it be? So it was tempting to medicate my little girl with the one who had hay fever and eczema. It was very, very tempting. And you know, everybody is taking things like antihistamines when they get a bit of hay fever. And it takes care of the symptoms, but it does not take care of the underlying reason for those symptoms. So I refused to fall into that temptation, basically because I had read the side effects. I had looked behind and beyond to know the side effects. So, you know, it has been said that a lot of people, because of this lifestyle of fast foods, and we've moved away from our traditional, wholesome, largely plant-based foods, and have introduced a lot of, for example, nitrates in the preservatives of meat, cold meats and all that. That's why we are seeing more and more cancers. That's why we are seeing a lot of issues. So it is a fact that nutrition is a critical determinant of immune function, and malnutrition, the most common cause of immunodeficiency worldwide. Now, talking of immunodeficiency, I have focused in the past many years on HIV. I started focusing on HIV when we arrived in Zambia. Now I'm talking the 80s, in 85, 86, where HIV was quite a new thing. It had just, we had seen it in medical school, but then we realized that a lot of people were suffering from immunodeficiency, and it was attributed to HIV. But I want to emphasize that the biggest reason for people to be immunodeficient is actually as a result of poor nutrition. And once we can get that right, we'll begin to understand the ethic of this company that we are privileged to be a part of. Now, let me just, because I settled in the area of viruses and specifically the HIV virus, all viruses have one thing in common. They need to live inside the cells, inside our cells. And without that, they cannot actually survive, right? So viruses, the first step will be to attach onto the cell and then penetrate that cell. And when in there, they will steal material, genetic material from that cell and convert it into new viruses. And then after they've built it, assemble those new viruses will be released, killing this cell in the process. and then they are released to go out and infect other cells. And that's how HIV works, and other viruses as well, okay? So that fascinated me, because my question became, surely if the immune system is strong, it can stop this process at any of those points, like at the penetration point or at the biosynthesis point, because our immune system has a capability of recognizing viruses and actually sacrificing an infected cell so that the rest of the cells don't become infected. Okay, it has that capability. But if the immune system is not working, that will not happen. So when I found Neolife, or when Neolife found me, I just want to pause a little bit and go back. I realized that I needed to pray for an opportunity, because I did not want my children to continue to suffer. And that's really my story. I didn't want to poison my children, and I was looking for an alternative, something that would change the atmosphere in our home. My husband is also a medical doctor. He has specialized mainly in obstetrics, that is the delivery of babies. He does some gynecology as well. But I, for those of you who are curious as to why I did not choose to specialize, I think it was precisely because of the knowledge that by specializing, I would be moving away from my dream, which was to prevent. And I think I have found it. But anyway, one day, somebody called. We were living in a city called East London. I had prayed for something to change about why my dream of preventing rather than medicating was so vivid. While it was so vivid, somebody called me to say, if I were to show you a way to create an extra income, would you look? Now, he asked me that question, and it was tempting to say, I'm a doctor. I have no time. My children are small. I am very busy. What is it all about in any case? Okay, those are the kinds of questions people ask, but I didn't ask a single question. All I wanted to know was, what is it? So I think the gentleman got the sense that I was inquisitive, and I've already told you just how curious I can get, how inquisitive I can get. So he said, okay. Then he said, what is your dream? So I want to introduce that aspect of being able to dream. And I just told him, all I want is healthy and happy children, a healthy and happy family. I would love to travel, and I just want to be sure that I can do unto others as I would have them do to me. That was important, because as a medical doctor, I felt very, very uncomfortable prescribing things for people, patients, my patients, that I myself was not taking. I was not taking any of those medications, yet we were prescribing them. And that gave me sleepless nights, I must confess. So it started with a dream. I told him my dreams, and we were together with my husband, and he said, okay, fine, come and see a presentation. And we got to that presentation. But I just want to say the importance of a dream. This is the founder of Neolife. His name is Jerry Brasfield. He's over 80 years old, still alive, well, and very fit. But in his young days, he was a very sick young man, a very sick boy. He had severe asthma and severe allergies, and he would often get pneumonia. And one day, because they were very poor, the walls were quite thin. This is a story that he tells himself, so I'm just repeating his story. He actually heard the doctor tell his mother that, no, Jerry's not going to make it through this night. as he was having a very severe asthma attack. It was at that point that the mother said, medications have failed to help my little boy. I'm going to try something different. So that is how Jerry was introduced to nutrition supplements. And Jerry recovered. His asthma subsided, and he has grown up to be an old man now, but he's not, well, age is only a number. He's far from old, okay, even though he's over 80. But that is the story that inspires me so much, because it actually proves that nutrition is fundamental and it is the foundation. So it reminds me of a story during my medical school. I think I was about the third year, just as we were beginning to see HIV manifest in people during medical education. We knew that there was this new disease, but there was still a lot of research going on. And I think the big announcement was made in 1983. I was halfway through medical school then. And we had a lady who was clearly immunodeficient, clearly. So we decided to adopt her, as it were. She was a patient. We adopted her, and we started giving her fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. Now, you live there where there's a lot of pineapples, a lot of mangoes, a lot of oranges, a lot of passion fruits, lots of vegetables. So we would make sure that this lady had enough of that, and would encourage her, and then would give her some protein as well, things like egg and things like that. And she made a good turnaround in her health. This was a little study that I myself and my best friend did at medical school. That convinced me of what I already had been convinced of in my young days, that nutrition is important. And now when I heard Jerry's story, I said to myself, okay, this is it. It's definitely true. So as he grew up, Jerry, now I'm flipping to his story. I'm going to flip towards my story and then go carry on with the presentation. As Jerry grew, at the age of 19, he founded Neolife. At that age, tender age of 19, and all he wanted to do was to say, this helped me, please use it and tell other people about it. And as you do so, whatever little bit that you start earning, I will have a commission bonus just because I have shared with you. And he thought he would be limited to his little town of Porterville, California. But to his surprise, the company spread and the business grew. And before a few years had gone by, it had actually spread to many different parts of the country, first North America, and then to different parts of the world as well. And now it is in over 50 countries. It started in East Africa, you might remember, in 1996. And I'm proud to say that I was among those who actually came after seeing it from South Africa, where it had started in 1971, came in 1996 with the opportunity and with a few other people as well. And it was introduced to Uganda. And that's because I told one of our uplines that, if you start in Uganda, because listen, I was born in Uganda. I know the Ugandans. I know that they will run with this opportunity. And I also know that they need it, because we don't have all those comforts of medical aid and, all the, advanced country comforts. We don't have that. Or we didn't have that then when I was speaking. So I said, let's go to Uganda. Anyway, to cut the long story short, all of you who are distributors and know our PT called Mike, I went ahead of him by about a week or maybe 2 weeks and prepared the ground. And I said, okay, now come to Uganda, we'll meet you at the airport and we'll start working. You know, he thought that he would come and maybe speak to about 10 people and go back. To his shock and horror, in 1996, it was the month of July, the first meeting had about over 300 people. And then we would work until 2 or 3 a.m. because people were eager, people were hungry for an opportunity. And that's how it started in Uganda. Obviously, the company saw that, hey, there's something happening here, and they opened up. And the rest, as we say, is history. Hence, we have people like Justus who are enjoying the fruits of his labor, thanks to people like our founding father, Jerry Brasfield, and all the other founders. So the company is based on these values: absolute honesty and integrity. That resonated with me without fail, because as I've told you, I needed to do something where I could honestly look at somebody in the eye and say, I've used this product, and that's why I am telling you that it will work for you. And that's the foundation of our business. Other values: people are number one, not profits, not products, but people are number one. And then they are products that work, and I'll go through them shortly. It's an equal opportunity for all. You do not have to be a medical doctor. In fact, I say it helps if you're not a medical doctor, because then you won't be stuck in your thinking about you. There'll be no conflict in your thinking. Okay, you don't have to have gone to school. You don't have to. All you need to qualify for this opportunity is a dream and a desire to change something about your life. Okay, and then you have to have a long-range vision. So what we are blessed with is a scientific advisory board. Again, that is the one thing that convinced me that I was getting involved in the right opportunity. And I didn't need much convincing, despite the fact that other people had shown me this opportunity and that opportunity. And because of my inquisitive and analytical, to some extent, mind, I would look at labels and say, I don't think this is genuine stuff. Okay, but when I came across this company, let me just tell you about the founder of the Scientific Advisory Board, and then I'll tell you that that was why I said, yes, this is the right place. He was a cancer researcher, a top toxicologist. He was also the one who first formulated oral cancer treatment, oral chemotherapy. Now, if you remember that little picture I showed you of how viruses work, I truly believe that it is his work that led to the formulation later on of antiretrovirals that I had become involved in. Well, they came into being around about 1996 when they were released for use in the public. But if it hadn't been for Dr. Arthur First's groundbreaking work, I don't believe we would have had antiretrovirals come into the world either. So these scientists research and develop everything. In the recent past, they've added 2 new members to the Scientific Advisory Board. And Neolife was the first nutrition company to ever be invited to scientific conferences where there were other researchers as well. And Neolife was the first company to say they had found a way to actually enhance the immune system. And that product is called carotenoid complex, which you will see just now. But how that happens is that everything is human natural. They do not scrape rocks. They do not scrape tree barks. They don't go to the bottom of the sea where we don't eat algae and or funny things like that. They take everything out of the food that we human beings are supposed to be eating. And the way they process it is advanced, but everything is geared to focusing on nutrition at a cellular level. Now, way back when the company was founded in 1958, they decided to focus on cellular nutrition. And that is where nutrition happens. But most other supplements, about 95 or 98% of them, don't do that. They don't focus on the cellular nutrition. Neolife founded and led the way with that. And we are made out of trillions of cells, about between 70 and 100 trillion cells. Each cell needs to be fed. And this is a groundbreaking, and it's a first of its kind, called TreeNN, which feeds the cell. Now, let me just tell you what TreeNN is actually made of. You see, at the turn of the century, when industrialization started happening, so too did food processing become necessary, because a lot of people had moved from the farms into cities and they needed to be fed. And in order to do that, they would have to prepare the food in such a way that it wouldn't go bad. It would sit on the supermarket shelves for a long time without going bad. So they found ways of, first of all, removing the oil, for example, from wheat. It's called wheat germ oil, or from rice, or from other grains, so that it would not go bad. Okay, then they would grind it, but because people who live in cities like things to be quick, fast, beautiful, convenient, they had to remove the husk, because the husk tended to make it brown and heavy. And so they would remove the husk. Now, with that goes fiber, which is crucial for our health. With that goes the minerals and the vitamins, which are found just under the husk. And so modern food is so highly processed, it is actually very high in starch. By the time everything has been lost, you're left with a grain that is about 98% starch. And that's what they're grinding up and putting into packets, and they can sit on the shelf for a long, long, long time. They put all those dates because it's legislated, but they sit there for a long time. So Neolife is about replacing the key oils that have been taken out. Okay, so it is 3-in-1. TreeNN means 3-in-1. The essential lipids and sterols that were originally supposed to be eaten in whole grain, but now because they've been taken out, we need to replace them. And because not everybody is using TreeNN, that is why we are finding disease processes such as hormonal imbalance. Okay, hormonal imbalance is because people cannot make their hormones anymore, and they don't have the other food factors. So this is indeed a unique product, only unique to this company. And once you become part of this company, you have access to it. But if you're not part of the company, you can still get it from somebody who is in the company for a slightly higher cost. And that's what it does. It allows nutrients in, and it allows your cells to get rid of waste. It is at a cellular level that disease begins. Now, I'm particularly fascinated by a cell and the things inside the cell, including what we call the mitochondria. That's where energy is produced. And most diseases, be they fatigue, chronic fatigue, be they hormonal imbalances, be they cancer, be they various things, Dementias are as a result of failure of the mitochondria. Heart disease, which is the leading cause of disability and death in the world, is as a result of failure of mitochondria. So my desire in medical school and before was to study things like that and see how we could prevent disease. I started by looking for cleaning products to change my household because I knew that what I was using from the store was full of chemicals, and it was probably the reason my children were manifesting hay fever and eczema. So this is what I found. We have brilliant products, very, very economical, very effective, totally safe, 100% biodegradable. Now, I want you to understand that concept, and I'm going to explain it to you. When we say something is 100% biodegradable, it means that when it goes out into the environment, the bacteria out in the environment actually break it down so that it doesn't leave residues that will later become toxins. If it isn't that, it itself, and that is what the most cleaners are and other detergents from stores, because they are not biodegradable, they instead kill the bacteria out there. They also can kill the bacteria on us if we are using certain products. They go further than that and kill the bacteria in us. We call that the gut microbiome. And that is a passion of mine, something that I'm very, very interested in educating about and also learning more about. So I bring wash. But a bit of my story, my children who are now adults, I've got 3 children, a son-in-law and 2 grandchildren. About 5 years ago, they said to themselves that let's surprise mommy with an amazing gift. And that was a dishwasher. It was one of the things on my dream chart. So they thought that would be a good Christmas present. So for the past 5 years, I haven't been washing dishes, but I use just half a teaspoon of G1 and a little bit of the other product that I showed you in the earlier picture called LDC, this one. A squirt of LDC, sometimes even I can use Super 10, it doesn't matter, they're quite interchangeable. And as a rinse aid, I use a little bit of Care, okay? And I use half a teaspoon, just half a teaspoon of G1 to do the dishes in the machine. Now, why is this important? You see, these are 100% biodegradable. They will not get inside me and on my plate or wherever, even though they are free rinsing and they do not leave residues. But if they were to leave any residues, they won't kill the bacteria in my gut. And that is so crucial because I want you all to understand that that's where disease begins. Destroying our bacteria inside us. And so talking of the gut, we have a gut regimen just to make sure that we detox regularly. I'll do another training on that, but it is very, very important to keep our guts as healthy as possible because that impacts our brain. There is that connection between the gut and the brain, and it is crucial, and we'll do it at another training. But this is our core nutrition. We call it Pro Vitality. We have Trianen that I've spoken of. Now let's talk about carotenoid complex that I also mentioned. It is the one that can help your body to boost its immune system quite considerably. And then we have omega-3, which helps to fill that gap and bring down inflammation. And then we have what we call cofactors, vitamins and minerals important in energy creation. For example, a lot of people who are eating a lot of processed foods are very, very deficient in vitamin B1. And that's why they cannot make energy. And that's why they're always tired. They're also very deficient in magnesium. And for the same reason, they can't create their energy. So in short, these are our products for the visitors and guests. We have a cleaning range. We have a personal care range. We have the most amazing age-defying skincare range for the face, which is 100% organic, and it is vegan, and it works. It really works. And then we have the biggest range, which is the nutrition range, and that's the New Life range. So the names are Golden, this is Nutrients, and then this is the New Life range, and they all come together. We have a range called the Herbal range, which is also available. Then we have children's nutritionals as well. This is unique to New Life in that they thought that they know that it is important to take care of children early. And this is something that you need to emphasize to all your clients at all times. So the question I would like to ask before we open up is, who needs New Life? The answer to that is everybody. Everybody. Please avoid the temptation of running around looking for patients, looking around for the sick, because the people who are well and yet worried about their health and are eager to take responsibility, they need New Life. Then there are individuals and their families who may be troubled by illness. And over the past 3 years, people have become aware now that, hey, I need to do something about it. And so these ones want to change, okay? They don't want to do that taking painkillers anymore because they are now aware. They need to look at New Life. And then you have the young people, the youth. They're vibrant, but they're also wise enough to be proactive. They need New Life because they understand that health is their greatest wealth. And then there are people who are genuinely looking for a way that is noble, it is honest, and they can do something with integrity to make an extra income, as well as to build a good legacy. And let me tell you, that was the biggest thing that caused me to come to East Africa in 1996. I felt I needed to go back to my roots to build a legacy. And oh, wow, I think I've been honored by that coming true. If you look at people like Justus, who are an example. So for the visitors, keep your ears and eyes open, and also open up your hearts and minds, because we have a lot that we can offer people. So now let's just quickly talk about the money, and I'm going to be very, very fast. We started a bit late. Okay, when you get started, you are in business for yourself, but never by yourself. Okay, the company will provide you with the logistics and the finances if you are to be paid. They'll do the distribution for you. You order, but they have the infrastructure for you to order. For example, when you get started, you get your own website and you get some literature. You can even get an app that is an amazing, amazing addition. And all you need to do is plug into the system and share with other people. So know your why, very, very important. There are 3 daily success habits. All you need to do is first use the products. In other words, stop buying from the store if you can replace it with what you've got here. And then in this example, you do a minimum of 100 PV. PV is really the currency unique to our company that we use to calculate turnover. Rather than using different currencies, we have a near-life currency called the point value, so that even if I'm in South Africa and I look to see what any of you have done in your business, I get a good idea what you have done in terms of the PV. Different currency, but same PV the world over. And then you introduce to other people. That's what we call share the opportunity. As fast as you can, share with at least 3 people in the first month and another 3 in the second month. Then you have those 6 people. Each of them duplicate exactly what you're showing them, use the product, and do at least 100 PV. So you are 7 of you doing exactly that. You will become what we call a manager. And when you are a manager, you get some profit or savings and a bonus. You're beginning to earn. Then you show somebody else to do exactly the same thing. This one also has 700 in his organization or his team. But now if you add everything up, that is actually a senior manager volume. And you can literally double your bonus and savings and profit from 1 month to the next. So that should excite you enough to say, okay, all the people that I am sharing with, let them do the same. So 6 times 7, 700 rather, plus your own 100, will get you over 4,000 points. 6 times 700 is 4,200 plus your own. That is over 4,000 points. Can you see that? So once you do that, you are what we call a director. And a director bonus in our terms is in those rands, but in Uganda shillings, Justice will tell you, or in dollars, it's around about $500, which is not a bad income at all. Some people, however, will say, well, thank you for showing me the business opportunity, but please, may I just buy products from you? So you convert them into customers. And obviously on that, you will get a profit, about 20% profit. And then keep learning. We have ample opportunities for learning. We have Zoom calls. We have those conventions that Justice was talking about. We have in-person trainings. We can do one-to-ones. We can read. We can listen to various things that are available. We have a lot. And of course, you get your back office, which has a lot of resources. And the teams are responsible for the training and personal development. Now, everybody starts at the level of distributor. And I like to say focus on getting to director through these steps. Manager, as I've shown you. Senior manager, as I've shown you. Executive manager is one who does with the team 2,000 points. That is halfway to director. Thereafter, at that point, you start earning, but throughout you're already earning from the level of manager. And then beyond that, if you're a stable director, you are what we call an emerald director, and you're looking for people to develop into directors themselves. Then you will step onto the world team and you will start traveling. That is so much fun. You heard Justice mention coming to Durban. Yes, he's been to Durban. He's been with me. I think we were in Abu Dhabi at some point. We were in Dubai at some point. We've been to Cape Town, maybe. We've been to Victoria Falls, places like that. Hong Kong. There was a trip to Hong Kong. Yeah, so it's fun. But then you don't have to stop at World Team, where you're earning over 25,000 Rand, which is about 1,000 or 2,000 or even more dollars. You can aim for the president's team where you can earn even more. Okay, so And that's because you're helping more and more people. So as I wind up, I've told part of my story, but remember, all I wanted was to change personally. So I realized that if I were to do what I had always done, the challenge would have been that I would have gotten what I was getting at that point, which was a lot of unhappiness and conflict within me, as well as a desire for more. But that's my story. So I decided to change, and I praise God every day that I was shown near life, because now I can do what others won't do, which is to do this amazing opportunity and change people's lives. And the reward for that is that I know tomorrow I'll do what others can't do. How many doctors, now let me go back to my profession, how many doctors can genuinely say, I have found my joy in helping people? Well, that is my story. So what is the next step for you? Get started. I urge you to get started, because we want people to join us on a mission to make the world a much happier and a much, much healthier place. So thank you so much. I will hand over back to Justice.
Wow, what an amazing session. Thank you so much, Dr. Eseza, for this amazing presentation. Very, very quite with a lot of wisdom and knowledge. I do believe that to everyone that is listening in must have been able to learn quite a number of things about their health, about the products. And this kind of information that Dr. Eseza shared with us is information that we can actually be able to use to change as many people's lives as possible out there. Because to be honest, people need this information. So many people need this information. So many people are dying with these diseases because of lack of such kind of information. So when we have a chance for someone like Dr. Eseza sharing with us, then I think it's an opportunity to take advantage and make sure that we pass on this information, but we also learn and also help ourselves, but also be able to help as many people as possible. The recording will be out shortly to anyone who, in case you've loud out some things, of which I'm sure most of us have been able to pick out so many things about health. We can actually share these recordings with most of our customers, because they don't have this kind of information and they need this kind of information. So the recording will be out shortly. Then we can be able to share it with our customers so that we can be able to help them out. Meanwhile, as we are also using this information to build and have great businesses. So thank you so much once again, and thank you for always creating time to share with our team. I don't remember any time I have invited you and you said no. That really, really means a lot, and we truly appreciate and don't take it for granted. So thank you so much. And to those that are listening in, congratulations. I believe this was so helpful. For the people in Mbara, tomorrow we are going to be having an experience meeting at Lakeview Hotel. It's an opportunity for us to invite massively to be able to grow and expand our businesses. And to the people in Kampala, we also have an experience meeting at the Imperial Hotel. So let's take advantage and we invite as many people as possible. Remember that our business only grows when we have been able to talk to people. If there's anything that I got to learn right off from the start in this business, is our business has only 3 laws. Number 1 is talk to people. Number 2, talk to people. Number 3, talk to people. The moment you'll master those laws and you talk to as many people as possible with targets, there is no way how you'll ever go wrong. Actually, the only difference between Dr. Eseza and I, with the kind of team that she has, because she has a very big team with so many presidents, team members, uncountable world team members, uncountable senior managers, uncountable directors. The only difference between me and her is that she has talked to as many people as possible. And she's talked to as many people as possible for a very long time and consistently. So if we also need to have businesses like Dr. Esza's, we need to open up our mouth. I like Pascal. Pascal always says that a closed mouth is a closed shop. So once you close your mouth, that means you're not building business. But once you open up your mouth to talk to people, like inviting as many people as possible for such an event like we have tomorrow, events we have tomorrow, the events we had today and yesterday, then there's no way how we are going to go wrong. We can only become managers, senior managers, executive managers, and directors if we are presenting this business, if we are presenting these products to people. All these promises that we have from New Life, the travel and lifestyle, the financial freedom, um, changing people's lives, making the world a healthier and a happier place. All of those things only happen when we talk to people. So let's go ahead and talk to people. Let's change people's lives. I've enjoyed sharing with you. And once again, thank you so much, Dr. Eseza, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay.